To see, do I have my line here? Yeah, somewhere in these areas here. So Coal Town Road, John Deere Road, there's Highway 5. Let's see, I can point to this if I get my pointer up there. Here we go. Okay, so here's John Deere Road right here, Highway 5. And the golf course, TPC, John Deere, right in this area here. So here's the town of Kelowna. If you're in Kelowna right now, you should be taking shelter. Here's 280 right there. So there's Highway 6 down toward Coal Valley, actually east of Coal Valley. So these areas right here really need to be taking shelter because, again, this is now a tornado warning. I will talk about what the Weather Service is actually saying about this right now. Of course, the issuance of this warning just came out, but let's go to the warning here. Let's kind of because of that hook echo that we were showing you, and I'll put that back on the screen here and get this into motion. Might be, oh, there we go right there. Yeah, boy, that's pretty obvious right there. And it's even a little bit farther west on this delayed radar. So that means all those areas I was talking about, you really need to be taking shelter now. If you already have, good for you. It looks like it's going to be heading right down John Deere Road, Highway 5, for those of you in Moline, right north of Interstate 280. Which is the red line that you see there. These are areas where you need to be taking shelter. If you're in Silvis, anywhere near the TPC, and then on toward Kelowna, need to be taking shelter now. That last scan right there kind of took that hook out, but let me put that back in. I'll show you what we're looking at. Kind of this area that was dropping down from the cloud, kind of like that in this last frame. Let me go back one, and you can kind of see it right there. That's what is known as a hook echo, and that is moving right down John Deere Parkway, Highway 5, John Deere Road, and Moline, and down toward Kelowna and north of Coal Valley. There's Interstate 280. You can clearly see that, and that's kind of the southern boundary of where the rotation is with this storm. I'm going to back this out just a little bit. Looks like it's lifting northeast a little bit, but if you're in Kelowna, there's Cleveland and the area that used to be Green Rock, these areas here, now getting toward Interstate 80, where we cross the Rock River. Those areas there, Barstow. This looks like it's going to try to want to swing right up the Interstate 80 corridor, which is actually right in the middle of this tornado warning box. So there you go. Let's see, a visibility rotation. Got a little bit of a feeder band going. This is from Kyle Dickens, who is out on the road. He is just off Interstate 88, and he can kind of see where this is rotating. There's something coming down from the cloud there, so that's why we're looking at this not only on radar, but now we've got some eyes on it as a tornado warning that's just been issued. So this will be for that hook echo that was found north of Coal Valley. Let's see, looking at some of the Weather Service here, some of the Weather Service info. It's a lot of science here, so I don't want to bore you with that, but we've got the pictures right there, and that is that storm that was producing a lot of hail not too long ago. But there you can see on our map, it's this little back edge of the storm right here. First of all, let's give you what's going on. Tornado warning till 5 o'clock in this red box right here. And you can see here's the Metro Quad Cities. We go down I-280 to the Big X. You've got Kelowna, Joslin, the I-88 corridor. This is right where Interstate 80 meets I-88, where I-88 actually takes off to the east. Approaching these areas, and just south of that right now, there is the Rock River. That's where we're looking at that intersection taking place. And yeah, this is going to be crossing Interstate 80. So if you've got any travel to do on 80 and you're thinking I'm going 80 south to Galesburg, don't do it right now. There's the Big X. There's where we have Interstate 88 breaking off I-80 right there. So again, you need to be taking shelter because it's that little appendage right there. That's our little hook echo, and that's indicating where we could have a tornado. We've got some cloud structure from spotters. Actually, Kyle Dickens from KWQC just sent in a picture of that. He's on the road. Just sent a picture of that in, and it's one of these situations where, like we saw near Freeport, Illinois earlier today, first thing we see is this on the radar, and then we start to see that dust swirl. So we're looking at a possible tornado within this box here. And again, don't want to get too myopic at this point, but we're still dealing with a line of severe thunderstorm warnings, and that is also danger, because with these storms, and you can see them all up and down the area here, we've got the possibility for some large hail. Again, I just quickly want to go back to, I don't want to forget our friends out just west of Minneapolis, here in Des Moines County and southern Whiteside County. There's the potential for large hail there from that area of blue, which is heading right toward Minneapolis, if not just south, between Minneapolis and Sperry. And then we have these other storms here, northwest, or I should say southwest of Morrison. Now a new tornado warning as I'm zooming in on that hail core. So now let's see what this one's giving us. Again, in terms of rotation, this is just south of Morrison. Not too clear, but there is that little highlight of green there. So between Morrison and Linden, I would say there's a rotation, and that certainly bodes with the location of that warning box right there. And again, I'm trying to show a little hook echo there, but you can kind of see it between Morrison and Prophetstown. So right now we've got two areas of weather that indicate you need to take shelter anywhere from, let's see, the eastern metro quad cities. Again here, down we're talking about Kelowna, toward Interstate 80, where I-88 comes off of 80 right there. There's the hook echo. It's approaching those areas just along and north of the Rock River to where it intersects with Interstate 80. And then these areas here, up 88, Jocelyn, eventually Erie and Prophetstown, you folks will need to take shelter as well, because we've got these two active warnings in the red here. And now this just issued about a minute or two ago, this new tornado warning, and that's really in the heart of Whiteside County. This goes all along Interstate 88 up toward the county line here. So this will include Sterling and Rock Falls, but right now it's more like Morrison, just south of Morrison, down toward Prophetstown, where we're getting a little bit of hail. That hail core shrinking a little bit, but there you can see, you kind of see it in that last frame. We've got that appendage there, that hook echo, indicating where we could have a tornado. And as we're zooming in on that, yeah, there's Linden right there. So if you're in Linden to Sands, that area, that township area, you need to be taking shelter. Certainly, also if you're south of Morrison, you need to be taking shelter now. This warning itself goes to 5:15. Hail size a couple of inches here, that potential, but it's really the tornado that we're worried about, or that rotation that we're worried about. And then we've got this tornado warning down here, which includes the southeast metro quad cities and adjacent areas to the east. That one goes till 5 o'clock. Still a hail threat here, about 1.5 inches or so for the hail. But again, right now we're not seeing much of a hail signature, just right there, that little area of gray. It's that hook echo that is now in this last frame showing up a little bit more prominently as well. And this is working its way right up Interstate 88, and farther up Interstate 88 we have that other tornado warning. So I'll try and get some info from the National Weather Service on what we are looking at. And there's Teresa with us working the radar right now. Might want to highlight some more of those severe thunderstorm warnings there.
Yeah,
and we look at what we've got going on.
Yeah, we are certainly seeing some very active weather across parts of our viewing area, and we've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now for Des Moines and Whiteside counties until 5:15. This storm capable of producing not only 60-mile-per-hour winds, but hail about 1.25 inches in diameter, and there is a tornado possible, seeing some rotation situated with this storm as it makes its way through Des Moines and into Whiteside County. So something that you're definitely going to want to be paying attention to. Take cover now if you are within the path of this storm, which right now looks to be moving to the east, I think. at about 30 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and track that out so you can see exactly what's happening. This storm system has been pretty vigorous over the course of the past couple of hours as that frontal system starts to move through. And so we are seeing this headed toward the Minneapolis area by 4:40, into Kingston by 4:51, Aquaka by 5 o'clock, Sunbeam and Monmouth just a little after 5:20. So again, a very potent storm that is making its way to the east at about 30 miles per hour. And we are talking about a tornado possible with this storm as it makes its way to the east. Let's talk about another storm, severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for Henry, Whiteside, and Rock Island counties. Actually, this is a tornado warning currently in effect, and that continues until 5 o'clock. Hail 1.5 inches in diameter. Also reporting some very gusty winds with this, and a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, not out of the question. So this is another very powerful storm, and also seeing a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the same areas of Henry, Rock Island, and Whiteside counties.
All right, yeah, we've got some word from the Weather Service too about Minneapolis area. We've got spotters on the ground now. We're getting information from them. They've got low-level rotation and a lot of rising cloud motion. This is for Des Moines County toward Minneapolis, so it does look like there's low-level rotation with that cell, and some large hail as well. And it looks like it's organized fairly quickly. They're looking at hail at least $half to ping pong ball threat, and this would be that storm that Teresa's highlighting right there along the, well, approaching the Mississippi River Valley. That's around Minneapolis and approaching Minneapolis rather quickly. So if you are in Minneapolis, you need to be taking shelter anywhere really in northern Des Moines County and even southern Louisa County. As we track that out, you can see that it's pretty much right on Minneapolis at this point. The hail core is just about there. It's probably even going to be a little bit quicker before 43. But if you're in Minneapolis, Minneapolis Medical Clinic, Northfield, these areas here, and then Keysburg, Ogle, Aledo, you have some more time. But this storm has been showing some rising motion, some rotation. We've got even here on our private weather service chat some pictures of the storm structure, which does look potentially tornadic, and that's why we're going here. Although it's a severe thunderstorm warning, you see that tag of tornado possible. Looks like, let's see, getting some more word from the weather service here. You have to watch for elevated flare-ups on these storms, not only for hail, but rotation over about the next 1 to 2 hours. We'll take a quick look at some hail pictures, and then we'll get back to the maps. There you see hail about a probably dime to nickel size in diameter. I'm not quite sure where this is from. This is from Bettendorf. Okay, yeah, and you can see that it's always great to have a hand in there. If you could maybe throw down a coin too, that way we can really confirm it, because I know my hand isn't as big as other hands, and it's bigger than some. So if you can throw a coin down, but we certainly appreciate the picture, and that is some well-developed hail there. That's almost about the size where you can start to expect some dings in the cars. But as we go back to the maps, first of all, this is our tornado warning that did include parts of the Metro Quad Cities, kind of still includes that loop there. And again, we're looking at that hook echo now. We've been talking about this before, where Interstate 80 meets the point with that exit where 88 begins. Right there is where that hook echo is. So if you're in that area, you need to be in shelter now. But if that gives you a little bit of an idea of right now where a possible tornado is, certainly we've seen the cloud structure that supports that. And the movement, you know, what we usually do in terms of the movement, and tornadoes can be sporadic, they can twist and turn a little bit, but you take a look at this parallelogram that the Weather Service draws, and you kind of anticipate movement bisecting that parallelogram. And for the next few minutes, that's going to be right along Interstate 88 up to Joslyn, Illinois. So, of course, this for Whiteside County, but also a little portion of Rock Island County and Henry County, Illinois as well. This warning goes until 5 o'clock. We have some video that we're going to show you. out of Whiteside County. Okay, here we go. We're going to scan the skies here. I think this is from Kyle, and I just saw this as well. Kind of a feeder coming into what could be an isolated lowering of the cloud deck here. Maybe a little bit of a wall cloud trying to form. And we have seen some pictures from down south too, around Minneapolis and east, or I should say west of Minneapolis, with a storm moving to the east that shows more significant cloud structure. Here is now the Whiteside County tornado warning that does just get into southeastern Carroll County. This warning goes till 5:15. And again, in here, we're looking at a little bit of a rotation structure. And not only that, but also the potential for some hail. Right now, our hail core is a little bit down. I'm going to have us go to the velocity mode here, just to show you that's SRV24. And I don't really see a whole lot there, but there is a brightening of the green. And usually if you see in the sea of green, a brightening of the green, that could indicate where there's a little bit of rotation. Not maybe the strongest, but again, we're getting a little far out from the radar site here. And when we look at areas south and west of the Metro Quad cities, where the radar site is located at the Davenport Airport, we look at a sea of red. Then we look for little bumps of brighter red or even yellow to see where there might be a little rotation. So this is just southeast of Morrison, about to cross Highway 30, where we have the indication of a possible tornado. Weather Service just gave us the heads up on this storm. Everything in the environment was coming together just at the right time to lead them to issue this tornado warning as opposed to severe thunderstorm warning. But of course, some of the things that we're all seeing with these storms today would be very heavy rainfall. We've seen the hail. It kind of cycles. Some folks are getting dime to nickel size hail. Some people getting hail a little bit larger than that. But we're talking about hail that could possibly form some damage. So two areas of concern here right now. For the most part, this tornado warning in Whiteside County. I think we just had this severe thunderstorm warning added as well. And then, of course, we've got the tornado warning that includes portions of the Quad Cities metro area and then back down to Minneapolis and portions of Louisa County and such. So there you see the indications of where our tornado warning happens to be. Not sure why we're on that there. Okay. That's, well, here's the radar, base radar right up here. Okay. We'll go with that. And we'll just forget that those actually exist. Okay. All right. As you might have noticed, we've recently changed our graphics here at TV6, and some of our old things are carrying over and getting into portions of our palette, our box that we choose things from, where they shouldn't be. So we'll not worry about that. We'll just get you the information that you need. New severe thunderstorm warning issued here, and that's for this storm, which does include that little tiny appendage right there, now moving up Interstate 88, and you can kind of see it right there. Now we're a few miles up Interstate 88 from the exit there, the on-ramp, off-ramp, the interchange, if you will, where I-80 crosses that little point where you get, I think Highway 55? No, Highway 5 becomes I-88, and that's where we're kind of tracking the movement of this possible tornado right here. Doesn't at this point look too significant, but you know, we'll just continue to track this. Oh, by the way, I know we're over Jeopardy right now, I believe, because it's 4:40. We might choose to re-air Jeopardy later tonight, but for, you know, we get these emails all the time. If a tornado move, or if I could say a tornado just dropped down at Avenue C and B Street and it didn't move, we'd say, hey, there's a tornado there, don't go there, and we'd be back to our regular programming. Folks, we know we're covering up Jeopardy right now. Maybe later tonight we cover up Wheel of Fortune and do a twofer for you. Thing is, tornadoes move. People might be tuning in right now not knowing about this. In 5 minutes, this tornado is going to be in a different spot. That's why we track those. And if you are writing us and saying, well, why don't you put that information at the bottom of the screen? Well, if you can write all these addresses down where that tornado is going to be and update that crawl at the bottom of the screen, I'd hire you right away. There's no way to keep up with that, and no way anybody can. That's why we're into programming right now. And let's face it, these are possible tornadoes. This is property and life-threatening stuff here. More important than any game show. We know you like your game shows. We'll re-air Jeopardy later tonight. When we get a time, we'll let you know. But right now, we got 2 tornado warnings here, along with a few severe thunderstorm warnings, with the potential for large hail. Here with this warning, what you're looking at, that 2-inch hail size, that's damaging hail. That's the stuff that can take out windshields or at least break some glass. Till 5:15, we have that tornado warning. So if you are, say, along Highway 30 here, you see it coming through Morrison, going out towards Sterling Rock Falls area. If you're along and north of Highway 30, you need to be taking shelter in Whiteside County. There is a possible tornado right that appendage there, and that's even dropping south of Highway 30. So even north of Interstate 88 in central and eastern Whiteside County. Take shelter now. And we've still got that tornado warning that's just a little bit farther south and west. There, pretty clearly, is a little appendage. We call that a hook echo. That's where a tornado could be. That is now north of Interstate 88. And you can see some of the streets here. We're looking at 73rd Avenue, 71st Avenue, north, and this is crossing 256th Street. So that's right where that possible tornado is in portions of Whiteside County. Now that it's moved a little farther to the east, that might be, I don't think that might be northern Rock Island County. Let's see. Well, nonetheless, there you can see where we're dealing with these streets here. These highways here. Highway 2 was off there, old Highway 2, I believe. And that's where we're looking north and west of Jocelyn. And within that severe thunderstorm warning, that was upgraded to this tornado warning because of that area right there. So if you are, say, along Interstate 88 and north toward, well, here's Port Byron. Port Byron's in the clear there. You're not going to be affected by that rotation. But there you can see these rural areas, and I've seen some of those roads there. A lot of trees and hills up there. There's Hillsdale. If you're west of Hillsdale especially, and there's Interstate 88, these areas right here, you need to be taking shelter. It doesn't look like much, I know, but we certainly have that hook echo right there that is indicative of at least rotation, if not an actual tornado. On this one, if we could take a look there at the rotation possibility. Yeah, see, it's now a little bit harder to see, but boy, it's, well, it's not too obvious. But if you're just east of Port Byron, the only thing I'm seeing of any interest is kind of right there, but that's not even within the warning box itself. I think what we're looking at now is perhaps this getting a little bit muddled by rain, but that wouldn't really take out our ability to see the rotation. So let me go back and see what the Weather Service is saying about this particular storm, if any updates are available. Let's see. Yeah, the supercell structure in the eastern QC has lost some size and rotation strength, as we're just noticing on radar. If that trend continues, the Weather Service says they won't be reissuing a tornado warning. And this goes until 5 o'clock, so we've still got 15 minutes or so for this warning to be in effect. Looking at some other things they were talking about, these scattered thunderstorms still developing ahead of the cold front, which you will note brings us cooler temperatures over the evening hours and into tonight. Large hail, damaging winds, still looking at that possibility of isolated tornadoes. So if you are anywhere, say, along the Mississippi River, south of Muscatine, and even west of the Mississippi River here toward northern Des Moines County and southern Louisa County in the next few minutes, or east of the Mississippi River, north of the Metro Quad Cities, you still have a tornado threat and large hail threat as we finish off the afternoon. It looks like for the most part, as we get into the early evening, this cold front will be through, kind of negating our threat for severe weather. But for the time being, yeah, look at that Teresa's put on the screen there, that wide shot. We do have a line of thunderstorms very clearly evident here. The strongest thunderstorms, the supercell thunderstorms from southeast Iowa. And we've still got to get some of these moves through the area. Along and south and east of that line, we've still got to get these to move on through. So there's still plenty of the Quad Cities area, especially on the Illinois side of the river. And we can almost see this from the Mississippi River up Interstate 88 and south and southeast of that whole zone. That's going to be the continued storm zone as we finish off the afternoon and now get into the evening hours. We've got our own Kyle Dickens on the line here talking about the storms that he's seeing. Kyle, what's going on out there?
Okay, Eric, right now I'm actually on I-88 just near Hillsdale, and I see, looking to my southwest here, I do have visual on two lowerings, one to my southwest and one to my west-northwest here. And with those lowerings, there does appear to be some weak circulation. That is with that tornado warning that is in effect for the Quad City Metro. Now, I just went through the storm that is now up into eastern parts of Whiteside County, and that did have a lowering that moved right over I-88, and we did see a brief funnel that continues on, and it does look like it's continuing with that lowering. But right now, this the storm that is over to my west here near Hillsdale does look like it's still a possibility here that we could see some circulation. To my west here, I do see some weak circulation. I would say probably about 2 or 3 miles due west of Hillsdale right now. Again, I'm on I-88 looking to my southwest here, but it does look a little bit weaker than what it did just a few minutes ago, but we continue with some rotation.
All right, well, thanks for that. Yeah, everything that you just described we are seeing here in terms of the stronger circulation might be that one off to your west, because we've got a hook echo right there, and they just realign that tornado warning to account for that. So this would be moving toward Hillsdale, pretty evident right there. Might not be a tornado on the ground at this point, but as Kyle said, he's been seeing some lowering of the clouds, and at any moment you could start to see that dust swirl on the ground, which indicates that even though a funnel can't be seen, once that circulation of wind starts affecting the ground, then it becomes officially a tornado. And that is heading right toward Hillsdale. So if you are in the Hillsdale area, especially west of Hillsdale and west of I-88 in that vicinity, this is when you need to be taking shelter right along 94th Avenue, north and south of 94th Avenue, and along and north of Highway 2 up into Hillsdale. Boy, it's that real triangular zone right there. We go from Hillsdale to the west and southwest. Those are the areas you need to be taking shelter right now. This is a potentially property and life-threatening situation as we have that appendage from the cloud. That's a tornado, or that's the area of rotation. Not sure if it's a tornado yet. That's moving right toward Hillsdale, so that's why you need to be taking shelter right now. And if you are east of Hillsdale and then south and toward Erie, although you're not in the tornado warning in Erie, but if you're east of Hillsdale and south of Interstate 88, you need to be taking shelter in those areas right now. Spotters on the ground looking at the rotation in that cloud cover. Now, as far as power outages, what did I hear in my ear? Okay, power outages in Rock Island County. See, what was that first part of that?
A few outages.
Okay, okay, in general then, we've got some power outages in Rock Island County. There is the map right there. And again, with the hail and the wind moving through at this point, there's really no surprise to that we're going to get at least some sporadic power outages. So right now we're looking at this, and as the Weather Service said, the trend is for some weakening. That's good news. But we still have that little appendage from the clouds right there that does indicate some circulation. We've seen it from spotters telling us that they've got rotation in the cloud. They've sent us in some pictures, which does show some structure on that last frame right there. It certainly looks like it's weakening. That's good news, and that's what's going to keep the Weather Service, probably, if that continues, from reissuing this tornado warning or modifying it before 5 o'clock. Now, again, let's go a little bit farther northeast, Teresa, and catch up with that other Whiteside County tornado warning, which continues to remain in validity. And right outside of Sterling now, we might be seeing this appendage right here, an indication of rotation. This particular tornado warning goes until 5:15, again with the storms. Now north of Dixon, you can see that hail core, but let's concentrate here. Even on that last frame with our Whiteside County storm here, again, the trend seems to be weakening, and that's great news. I mean, if we get through this day with nothing but funnel clouds and interesting cloud structure and rotation without getting a tornado, I will be very happy about that. But we do have that potential, and we've got more storms on the way, folks. I know we're getting late in the afternoon, but we're still ahead of the cold front, and this is fairly unstable air. If you are out at all today, you notice we had the warmth, have the humidity, still have temperatures in the 70s in these areas, and that humidity feeding into this cold front, which is rolling on through. You know, interestingly, looking at this structure earlier today, didn't look like we're going to have the same kind of situation as we did Tuesday, this past Tuesday, I believe it was, when we did have tornadoes. But at this point, it's a little bit more impressive in the sense that we're getting more storms, and these storms are producing more of a large hail threat. And you know, you can get all the spinning in the cloud you want, but if it never contacts the ground, you're fine. But these hail cores that we've been seeing, and a lot of you out there have been getting these hail sweeps moving through your neighborhood of anywhere from dime to nickel size hail to even higher diameters than that. That this is a little bit more of an active situation than we had last Tuesday, but still looking at the storms forming in that zone south and west of the Quad Cities area. And as we look at this storm here that's now getting up into southern Whiteside County, looks like it's lost some punch, but again, we're still looking at a storm that did have some structure that could indicate a possible tornado. Right now, we don't have a possible tornado tag on this warning, so that's good news. Not that it's great that we're still dealing with a severe thunderstorm, which could produce 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail an inch in diameter, but at least its rotation characteristics have kind of dropped to the point where they're not concerned of tornado activity from this storm. So as we go through the evening, it's just going to be that continued scattering of thunderstorms. Our first warning for a tornado will end at 5, and then our second warning might not get past the 5 o'clock hour either, because here we are about 10 minutes to 5, and these storms are weakening and moving out of the warned area, or getting close to doing that. So for this update here, you can see we've got this tornado warning until 5 o'clock. Henry, Rock Island, and Whiteside County still in that warning, and we're not seeing any hail cores with that one, so that's good news. And then this tornado warning till 5:15 for portions of Carroll, a small portion of Carroll, and mainly northeastern Whiteside County now. Sterling up Highway 40 to the county line with Carroll. That's where that storm is at this point, and it looks like things have shown a weakening trend. So hopefully once this storm moves to the border, you know, if that's 10 minutes or 15 minutes from now, hopefully it's quicker, sooner than later, that tornado warning will be allowed to drop as well. We'll probably turn it, I'll tell you this to the control room right now, we will turn things over to the 5 o'clock news, because I'm sure at that point this tornado warning will be allowed to expire. And if this one isn't canceled, we're not really noticing much, if any, rotation, or at least at this point, and that can change in minutes, a hail threat from this storm in northeastern Whiteside County right now. But again, you can see some scattered storms around the rest of the area, and more coming at us from northeastern Missouri. So I don't think this will necessarily be the end of at least any severe thunderstorm warnings. Hopefully we're going to get rid of this tornado threat soon, but with a whole nother line of storms just kind of being born here in northeastern Missouri, southeastern Iowa, can't really say that that's going to be the case, but we'll have numerous storms to watch as we go through the 5 o'clock hour. And these are just getting into the TV6 viewing area. So if they remain strong, and mind you, as these move northeast, they're also going to be slowly pushed farther to the east toward the edge of our viewing area, because that front is slowly but surely moving its way in. Hopefully the threats for anything tornadic, or certainly the large hail threats that we've had, will minimize or just be completely taken care of here very early in the evening versus later in the evening. But I can just say right now with at least some certainty that this is not the end of everything once we hit the 5 o'clock hour. But we will turn it back to the news at 5. Before we do that, I do want to check with the Weather Service to see if they're giving us any updates that we can pass along to you, because, well, it doesn't look like they really are, other than the fact that they are Continuing with the tornado warnings, we've got Kyle out there on the road, Kyle Dickens. He is telling us that the storms are starting to lose structure. We can kind of see that on radar, so that's a good indication that things are kind of winding up, at least for this round. And I do want to stress this round because we've got still the end of the afternoon and the early evening to go with those storms off to our south and west that still have to track through the area. Boy, they've been moving in a pretty straight line here from southeast Iowa through or near the metro right up into northwestern, actually north central Illinois, where Freeport, Illinois did have a tornado nearby earlier today, just as these storms were starting to form. And we have pictures of that probably on the National Weather Service page. But again, at this point, we've got until 5:15 officially this farther east tornado warning. This storm is losing structure, isn't showing any hail, and the rotation is starting to go down. And this storm here is really breaking up quickly. This is the one where Kyle Dickens has his eyes on. And although there's still a little back edge to this one, it doesn't really look too prominent, not really connected to the main storm there. And no hail cores to see. So at 5 o'clock, this warning will come to an end. And at 5 o'clock, we will turn over to the news. But if you are in these areas, still what you have to watch for, if your skies say are darkening and you've got a storm approaching your neighborhood, right now we don't see anything like we saw earlier on that cell, that area of blue, just like we see over here south of Oregon, Illinois. Those are the hail cores, and with a day like this, these hail cores can pop up, drop off the map, and then in a few minutes start building again. And that's what we had as a main threat earlier today with those hail size estimates anywhere from 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. That's damaging hail, so that's what qualifies for a considerable damage tag on either a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning in terms of the hail. And that's what we had popping up here earlier today. Now we still have these storms moving into Whiteside County. Overall starting to weaken a little bit, and also as we take a look farther east, that storm getting north of Sterling, but again not really showing much in terms of rotation characteristics, so that's good news. But we just have to concentrate on that next round of storms, so don't let your guard down. When the 5 o'clock hour hits here and we can turn it over to the news, just let me know. But I want to say don't let your guard down because we've still got some storms to go. These are going to hug the cold front, and that cold front is dragging its heels, which means that really for about the next 2 maybe to 3 hours, we still have a threat of severe weather to get through. And then as we finish off the evening, cold front will be through, and everything in terms of any severe weather threat will be through. But as we approach the 5 o'clock hour, this is KWQC TV6 in Davenport, Iowa. Live storm coverage right now. Our tornado warnings are about to expire, but they are still on the map. And thankfully, looking at those cells down to the south and west of us, I don't see any warnings at this point. We'll see, because we still have a pretty unstable environment right here over the QC, and that could lead to more and more warnings. This tornado warning about to expire at 5, and as you can see, they have just taken that, as anticipated, they've just taken that 5:15 expiration tornado warning off the map, so they've already canceled that early. This storm is starting to behave. This other storm is really out of the area, so I don't see any threat from that. If you did get any hail today and you haven't sent a picture of it in, we'd certainly appreciate to see that, because what we do with that information, we will transfer those hail numbers or diameters onto the National Weather Service with your location, so we appreciate that. About how long do we have to go to kick off the 5 o'clock news? It is kicked off now, so here is the news, and thanks for watching our live storm coverage.
On TV6 News.
Windy weather conditions causing problems when it comes to controlled burns, what local fire departments say are the biggest challenges when dealing with these blazes. And the woman sentenced in